Okay, paint me a picture of now. First of all, what is the name of the album?
Miangima.
Why do you call it that?
Give me life in Dulu.
Oh, nice.
Chauvinistic. 3 out of 4 of the band were Jeng, so what do we do?
It's right.
We're just chauvinists.
Good one. So, but do you say? So, okay, paint me a picture of what year is this now that album's out?
So now, this is 93.
93, yeah?
This is 93 going to 94.
What happens now?
So the industry...
Because you've been blocked from, you can't sing in church.
But we didn't know that the industry was just about ready for us. Because as soon as the church... And this is what happens. When you're proscribed by people in establishment, kids start to become curious. Kwani, why are these people hated so much? So because we were hated so much, people became curious. So Fellowship of Christian Unions have written their letter. We can't go anywhere. Churches, we can't go to churches. Even our home church, we can't go because of the controversies tied to us. And then two or three things happened to us. One is we met Christina Willis. Christina Willis was a parent at Nairobi Academy. So one day we're doing a gig, and I think she just walked in. And she says, who are these? So this Jungu lady comes and sees these young people, and she says, my kids have to meet these guys. Maybe it was the other way around. I don't really remember how it is. But she was a missionary. They were a missionary couple who had come to Kenya, and the kids grew up in Kenya and loved us. So we met the parents, and the next thing she knows, she says, I want to be your manager. I'll do your things. And she's got no management experience, nothing, but all she remembers is that when she was in England, she was in a band. And she liked it, and this just gave her some kind of nostalgia. So Christina Willis then becomes our manager. Now, it's one thing to have 3 or 4 African kids being fronted by a European lady, an English lady. People say, these guys are serious.
Yeah.
Not knowing the only connection is that we were praying together, and that she just liked us as just the way she liked her kids. So she's going around knocking on doors and saying, give my kids a chance, give my kids a chance. So now what started happening is the private schools are not members of the Fellowship of Christian Unions.
Oh, man.
So now private schools start to open up, and the private schools circle was small, and they knew each other. So you get invited to Hillcrest, you get invited to Nairobi Academy, you get invited to this and this place and this and this place. So suddenly we are exposed to middle class and upper class Nairobi in a way that we would never have gotten if we still remained in church. So those doors started opening, and suddenly we were in St. Mary's school, which is a Catholic school, because we're evangelical mainly, but we end up in St. Mary's because part of Ted's family is in St. Mary's, and they say, hey, you guys, you should come for entertainment night at St. Mary's. We come and we shut the school
You throw down.
And then the other side of it is one day we show up at Loreto Convent Valley Road. And
Muslo.
in Loreto Convent Valley
Road, okay.
In that crowd are several people, one of whom was Caroline Mutoko in the class. So here's these young cool guys who walk in and tetemesha the school because they're good looking, they sing well, and the school stops. So the rumor is going around private schools that there are some cool guys who sing. You guy. And they're Christians. But they're Christians. Whatever works for us.
Yeah, it's all good.
And so we were going. And so from private school to homes. So some guy says, hey, you know what? We really like you. We have a party. Come and sing in our house for a few kids. Not knowing that those kids are influential people's kids who come and say, we like your ministry. Here's a little money to push you a little forward. So it became well-wishers and tapes that kept our thing going. Number one. Number two thing that happened to us is one day we're just performing, and Pascal, a young man called Pascal, walks in and he looks at us. So we're now seeing not just black people in our audience, we're now seeing mixed audiences. So we're seeing some Asians and some Yeah, and some white people coming to our, so Europeans,
Yeah.
Asians are coming to our gigs.
Or because you've been doing the private schools tour.
Because now, exactly, private schools tour, and people are reading about us in the papers, this notorious group who people are even doing cartoons about. And something starts to happen, and we start getting notoriety. So Pascal comes, and Pascal works at a TV station. So he's just looking at us. We see this tall guy looking at us from the back. Then after a while, he's just smiling and he loves us and he likes us because Pascal is a musician. He's like a rock musician, but he happens to be the son of Leo Slingerland, who is the head
Of
right now
Family
of Family Media. At that time, it was friendship company of Family Media. So they were doing Christian production and documentaries and things. So he goes to tell his dad, "Dad, I met a group. You need to see them. You need to see them. You need to see them." Next time round, he comes with his dad. So he has an even taller Dutch guy looking over at us with his handlebar mustache, looking serious and everything, and saying, "I like you. Come and see us in our office." And the next thing we know is they like us, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna do a series. We're gonna print all your tapes." So suddenly, they are the number one Christian music distributor at the time, and they say, we're going to distribute we're going to do your, publish and do your thing. So we said, yeah, you can. Awesome. So then one of our good friends who had been doing things with Jack Odongo back in the day with commercials and ads is Jimmy Gathu. How I met Jimmy Gathu is through those gigs, those things that we're doing in the commercials. Jimmy and I become really tight, we become friends and stuff. So Jimmy gets a gig at KTN, and so he invents all these programs. Then Jimmy says, "Man, I like what you guys are doing. Do you have a video?" No. And about the same time, Pascal says, "Let's shoot a video." Tells his dad, "Let's shoot a video for these guys." Convinces his dad to shoot a video. Next thing, we have a video, which you will see right here.
Okay, amazing video. But let me ask, how many people had videos then?
Okay, so nobody else
apart
had
from
a
Jimmy
music
Gathu.
other than, so even Five Alive, who start to blow up at that time, don't have a music video. People, it was just Jimmy Gathu,
Eric Wainaina.
Eric
doesn't.
At that time, Eric had a thing with Slingerland as well. They did something, but for a campaign that they were doing. And then nobody, I mean, people just didn't have music videos. Certainly no gospel group had a music video. Number one. Number two, they probably were people who had music videos, but they would not play on Jamadelic. So now we had a music. Listen, if you got on Jamadelic, now first of all, Kenyans, there was no Kenyans played on Jamadelic.
Yep.
There were no Kenyans played on Jamadelic. We were one of the first Kenyan groups ever to be played on KTN's program. One of the first ever. Secondly, we're certainly the first gospel group to have a music video on Jamadelic. And please notice that right after we were playing sandwich between R. Kelly and Boys to Men.
Boys to Men. So it's R. Kelly plays,
Hart plays.
Hart plays.
So you can imagine 3.5 minutes of the entire country's attention is fixed on this group.
Exactly.
We became larger than life. This is pre-internet, guys. But we were big. 94 was our year. So we're in 1994. It's our year. We are blowing up. Limitex is coming back into town. We're opening for them. Tavani is coming into town. You don't even know who Tavani is.
I don't know.
So Peaches and Herb was this huge duo in the 70s and 80s. And they did songs like Shake Your Groove Thing, I Pledge My Love. So Peaches, who's the girl, gets born again. She marries Steve Tavani. They form a duo and they're touring the world. They come to Kenya. We open for them.
What?
So we're opening for every big act and then holding our own shows. Kids from all over town are coming. So we're not allowed to, we are becoming bigger. So we didn't need to go to church anymore. Because now we've grown bigger than the platform that any one church
can give you guys.
Offer us.
In fact, the church needs you to gather the youth.
So the youth in church are asking now their pastors, why don't these guys sing in church? These guys are gathering huge 1,000, 2,000 people in their gigs and places, carnivals are allowing them to sing. Why don't you let them sing?
Oh my God, Pastor Pete, you guys were that radical.
We were radical.
Basically, it's like Sauti Sol being a gospel group but not singing in church.
Exactly. There was
That's insane.
The next biggest group. Listen, the only other group that gave us any competition was Five Alive. Because by that time, listen, we'd go to a place, shut it down.
That is insane.
Shut it down. So we were, I mean, to me, I'm now looking back and watching it sometimes, I say, what were you guys on? So we made impressions on everybody. We're getting into European magazines. So
European magazines?
Yeah, so there's magazines that Europe says, phenomenon from Kenya. American labels now started looking for us. Next thing we know, Leah Slingerland calls us one day and says, he saw us and calls up Word Records. Word Records, which became Benson. Benson, Word. Anyway, so Word Records in Nashville, and says, I have a group for you.